Good morning. Welcome to the School of Public Health graduation celebration for 2020. I am Victoria Gardner, Assistant Dean in the School of Public Health. The University of Washington School of Public Health acknowledges the Coast Salish peoples of this land, the land which touches the shared waters for all the bands and tribes within the Duwamish, Suquamish, Tulalip, and Muckleshoot nations. I want to thank all of the faculty, staff, and students whose efforts have made this wonderful celebration possible today. Families and friends of our graduates, I'm especially pleased that you are able to witness and celebrate our graduates. Thank you for your encouragement and support of our students during their time with us. Congratulations to all of our graduates. We are so proud of your accomplishments and look forward to the work you're about to do for and alongside our communities. Now, please join me in welcoming our school's dean, Dr. Hillary Godwin.
Hello and welcome. My name is Hillary Godwin, and I'm the Dean of the University of Washington School of Public Health. Today, we are celebrating the graduation of 737 students, 58 with doctorates, 333 with master's degrees, and 346 with bachelor's degrees. Some of these graduates are overseas, and some of them are already at work in their new careers. This year, particularly the last 6 months, has been unprecedented in so many ways. I'd like to take a moment of silence to honor those who could not be with us today. COVID-19, 25% unemployment, the biggest economic downturn since the Great Depression. Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, the most widespread and prolonged protests that we've seen in a generation. And yet, some things have not changed. Police violence against Black Americans is not new. Racism is not new. It is an insidious evil that has been with us since the birth of this country. COVID-19 and the economic downturn are simply reinforcing the health inequities that already existed in our country because we have not dismantled the social structures that created those inequities in the first place. We have a lot of work in front of us. This work will not be easy, and it will not be over quickly. Nonetheless, we must persevere. When I wake up each morning, I find hope because of the students who are graduating today and those who are following in their footsteps. These students are not afraid to speak out. They're willing to tell us that they are not okay, and they won't be okay until we make major changes in our school, in our institution, and in society. They've taken the lessons that we have provided on how to advocate for underserved communities and address upstream determinants of health and have turned them back on us, demanding that we do better. Our students are resilient, they're passionate, they're scrappy, and they're persistent. Today's graduates have made important and tangible contributions to our fight against COVID-19. They've been on the front lines, working to reduce firearm injuries and to ensure that individuals in our community who are experiencing homelessness have the protections and services that they deserve. They've worked in laboratories and in the field, developing the evidence base that we need to be effective in improving health for all. And yes, they have been on the streets advocating for systemic change. I'm proud that today's graduates will carry the public health torch well into the 21st century, here in our community and globally, controlling infectious diseases, fighting heart disease and cancer, eliminating disparities in health, leading and improving healthcare systems, educating the public, and crafting and implementing public policies that promote the greater good. Graduates, you are visionaries, pragmatists, change agents, scientists, and heroes. We can't wait to see what you will do. Like you, I wish we could all be together in person to celebrate this milestone. I hope that each one of you is celebrating this event with people that you love, with at least some of the friends and family members whose love and support were essential to you arriving at this day. Huge thanks to all of those who are watching and celebrating a graduate today. I hope that you will join us next year to honor these graduates in person at the June 2021 celebration. For now, please join me in a round of applause for our graduates.
Hello, I'm Acting Associate Dean for Education, Stephanie Farquhar. It is my pleasure to recognize our outstanding students for the 2019-2020 academic year. Every academic year, the environmental health, food systems, nutrition and health, the health informatics and health information management, and the public health, global health majors each select an outstanding undergraduate student to be honored for exemplary scholarship and dedication to the practice of public health. Outstanding students at both the master's and doctoral levels are also selected by our department and interdisciplinary programs. It is from this pool that the Gilbert S. Omen Award recipients are determined. These prestigious school-wide honors are awarded to one doctoral student and one master's student for outstanding scholarship and demonstrated commitment to the field of public health. In addition, the Student Public Health Association identifies one outstanding teaching assistant and one student who demonstrates exemplary community service. This year's award recipients are acknowledged on the graduation program and will be recognized now in alphabetical order. Mariam Abdi, Blair Armistead, Thomas Austin, Michelle Bolteries, Junyun Dai, Kenneth Gao, Lucy Gao, Caitlin Kelly, Emily Kwong, Taylor Licknecker, Vivian Lyons, Anna Mowell, Canada Parrish, Rebecca Petroff, Paige Stringer, Eva Torres, Lorraine Tuhey Jacobs, Alexa Yamada. I'd also like to recognize the 10 School of Public Health students who were named to this year's Husky 100, a very special recognition of students who really made the most of their experience at the University of Washington and in the community. This year's winners include Sumaya Aiden, Perla Bravo, Claire Branley, Chiara DeSantis, Cassandra Job, Neha Krishnam, Aaron B. Lee, Jefferson Nguyen, Polly Woodbury, and Kristen Trevelli. Go Huskies! I am now pleased to introduce three of our outstanding students, Vivian Lyons, Michelle Bolteries, and Marianne Abdi.
I am honored to receive this award and to be chosen to represent the Department of Epidemiology and the School of Public Health. Thank you to all of my fellow students, the faculty, staff, my mentors, as well as my incredibly supportive family and friends. What a time to celebrate public health, a science rooted in empathy, collaboration, and a deep drive to address suffering and inequities. I never imagined I would be giving a speech at my own commencement, let alone for a School of Public Health during a pandemic. But here we are. The world needs us now more than ever, both to address the pandemic and to work to undo the deep inequities it has exposed and exacerbated. The racial disparities we see in the death toll of COVID-19 and the continued police violence against Black and Brown people highlight the structural racism, anti-Blackness, discrimination, and extreme inequality in the United States that has persisted for generations. This is what we're up against. It's both a cause and contributor to many of the individual outcomes and diseases we work to prevent. Public health is one of the most empathetic sciences. Our work requires looking at problems outside of ourselves, understanding health behaviors, and the ways our systems perpetuate inequities in order to affect change. We are living in a public health crisis, so it's fortunate we have just been given the tools we need to respond to one. In many ways, entering the world with our public training at this moment in time gives us the greatest potential to affect that change. We develop new tools every day with input and engagement from communities. We have old tools which we can reapply in new and innovative ways. However, a tool is just a tool. How you apply it is what matters. It's important to remember how data describing high arrest and incarceration rates for Black Americans was used to argue that they were a dangerous and violent people, justifying racism and oppression, and the many ways in which we as researchers have harmed steady participants and broken trust of communities, like we did with Henrietta Lacks and the Tuskegee trial. It's our responsibility to use the tools we have to create a more equitable and just world. We can only do this work together. Each of us brings our own experience and perspective to this work, and the diversity represented in our graduating class is essential. Our public health response to this crisis needs to center the experiences of those most marginalized in order to move forward and restore justice. I sincerely hope our return to society is not a return to what was normal, but a return to a new, more equitable future with improved health for everyone. We are being called to action. What we inherit does not need to be what we leave behind. Thank you, and congratulations to my fellow graduates.
I want to give my heartfelt thanks to the School of Public Health and Department of Epidemiology for this wonderful award. I'm incredibly humbled, as there are so many students in the school who are deserving of this recognition. This may not be the graduation ceremony we all envision, but that's okay. How often do you get to wear your pajamas to your own graduation? In a time of global crisis, UW did what it does best. It came together to lead on the front lines. I'm immensely proud to be a student at the University of Washington. As a research assistant working with one of the many teams conducting clinical trials to understand, test, and treat COVID-19, I can attest to the dedication and selflessness of everyone involved in UW's coronavirus response. Thank you especially to all of you who are essential workers for your bravery and stamina during this time, and to our school for your leadership and creating a space where we can learn, thrive, and truly make a global impact when the world needs it the most. UW gave us the tools to prepare for how to make an impact in public health, but it's our responsibility to never forget why we work in public health. As distinct as our fingerprints, we all have a unique mark to make in the world. I'm sure we all can remember the moment when we knew we had a burning passion for public health and decided to pursue a career in it. For me, that moment came when I was 12 years old. There's a Zambian saying, "Imiti kula mpanga," that means the trees of today are the forests of tomorrow. I've dreamed of becoming an epidemiologist since I was a little tree growing up in Zambia. I often played soccer with the kids who lived in a group home nearby, all of whom were living with HIV. At the time, Zambia had one of the highest HIV burdens in the world, and I didn't realize at age 12 that my soccer pals represented a statistic to many. I just knew they had dreams of growing up to be teachers, nurses, or like me, a professional soccer player. We were all just kids, and one day we were playing soccer on a field that had trees growing from the middle, and a group of older children kicked everyone out and told my soccer pals that sick kids can't play. I knew they took daily HIV medicine, but up to that point I was naive to the social adversities they faced. My soccer pals made it a mission to enter them into the local soccer tournament that they otherwise were excluded from because they lacked the resources to feel like normal kids in society. Together we fundraised enough money and resources to enter my soccer pals into the local tournament, which they ended up winning. This was that moment for me, when I learned the power of empathy leading to action. So why do I work in public health? Because I vow to look beyond the numbers in a data set, to understand people as complex, dynamic human beings that they are, so that I can best understand how to improve health. My mentors at UW taught me how to do this, and I challenge all of us to never lose touch of the reason we work in public health. I would like to thank my family for their unfailing love and support, and to the faculty mentors for your generosity in providing extraordinary opportunities to learn from you in your work. Your commitment, creativity, and passion inspire us every single day. I want to thank my classmates for the inspiration. I love learning from your experience, skills, and dreams. We come from all over the world, speak different languages, come from different academic backgrounds. I look forward to working with you all as innovative public health scientists that lead intentionally with creativity and human equity at our core for the communities that we serve. Imiti Kulampanga, the trees of today are the forests of tomorrow. Let's all remember our roots at UW as we branch out into the world. Congratulations, class of 2020.
Dear friends, family, fellow students, and the School of Public Health faculty and staff, my name is Marianne Abdi, and I'm graduating with a Bachelor of Science degree in Public Health Global Health. It is an honor to be chosen as the recipient of the 2020 Outstanding Undergraduate Student Award, and to be given the opportunity to speak in front of you all. I am here to congratulate all students today for reaching this milestone, graduating with a degree from the University of Washington. Yet, I have to admit, it's a bittersweet moment. Believe it or not, a few weeks ago, I wasn't planning on attending the virtual graduation. I felt that the virtual graduation wouldn't feel the same as walking across the stage, receiving a piece of paper that resembles a diploma, with my family in the crowd cheering for me. I thought that if I were to attend the virtual graduation, I would be reminded of the graduation I could have had if not for the pandemic. When I told my mom I wasn't going to attend the graduation, she said, and I quote, "Just because you can't walk across the stage doesn't mean you should be missing out on the activities that will serve you as memories of your graduation. Memories that you will cherish when you are older. Happy memories in a time of uncertainty." Her speaking in Somali also reminded me of the sacrifices my parents had made for me to get an education. That same day, I bought my cap and gown and signed up for graduation. Although a virtual graduation isn't ideal, we should make the most out of the situation we are in today and celebrate. Celebrating may look like having a dinner party with your family, or dancing to Congratulations by Post Malone in your room in quarantine. What's important is that you celebrate and create these precious memories. But be sure to follow social distancing guidelines and to stay safe. Before I end this speech, I would like to thank my parents. Without their emotional and financial support, I wouldn't have made it this far. Thank you, Hoyle. Thank you, Abel. Thank you to all parents and supporters that have made it possible for us to succeed. And congratulations, class of 2020. Make the most out of the situation we are in today and make memories that will last a lifetime. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivian, Michelle, and Marianne. We're honored to welcome this year's graduation speaker, Ms. Gina McCarthy. Ms. McCarthy is the President and Chief Executive Officer of the Natural Resources Defense Council, where she leads more than 700 attorneys, scientists, advocates, and policy experts who all work to ensure the rights of all people to clean air, clean water, and healthy communities. Ms. McCarthy has been a leading advocate for smart, successful strategies to protect public health and the environment for more than 30 years. Ms. McCarthy served as the 13th Administrator of the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency and as Assistant Administrator for the Office of Air and Radiation under President Obama. Her leadership led to significant federal, state, and local actions on critical issues related to the environment, economy, energy, and transportation. While at the EPA, Ms. McCarthy led initiatives that cut air pollution, protected water resources, strengthened chemical safety, and reduced greenhouse gas emissions. After leaving the federal government and before joining the NRDC, Ms. McCarthy served as a professor of practice in public health at the Department of Environmental Health at the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health. She currently chairs the Board of Advisors at Harvard Center for Climate, Health, and the Global Environment. She continues to be a powerful voice for evidence-based policies and an outspoken critic of the effort to roll back public health protections.
Thank you, Dean Godwin. Class of 2020, congratulations. I wish I could be with you, and not just in spirit, but instead I have some spirits with me to toast you in just a few minutes. Congratulations. You made it through the year under what has to be the most difficult of circumstances, so I have no doubt you can accomplish just about anything. You have the honor of being Dean Godwin's first graduating class and of celebrating the school's 50th anniversary. It's a good year for 50th. Earth Day, the Clean Air Act, NRDC, Tina Fey, me. All right, kidding on the last one. When you think about it, you may be the first graduating class from a public health school. That doesn't have to explain your relevance. There is no one in the world who doesn't realize the importance of what you do, or who won't ask you a million questions and hopefully won't forget to thank you. And neither will I. So here's a shout out to all of you healthcare and public health professionals who are doing God's work, and to all of you who are speaking up and sharing what this country should be doing to protect people rather than polluters, and how to open our businesses in ways that protect workers and customers. To those of you focusing attention on low income and communities of color who, because of poverty and systemic racism, are facing disproportionately high mortality rates from COVID-19. And to those who won't let us forget the Black men who have been killed, shot down just for jogging or in their own homes, or slowly smothered to death by an officer's knee, and the list goes on and on. I stand with you. History is indeed repeating itself as systemic racism remains unchecked, and hatred and violence has been fueled by ignorance and indifference. We must stand in solidarity with African Americans and demand that this legacy stop right here and now, and to fight for justice and fairness and hope. Yes, indeed, what a time to be graduating. Public health challenges just seem to be getting bigger and bigger, so be prepared. You might actually get a job. Just think about it. People in masks walking down the streets these days can be overheard using the word epidemiologist in a sentence in a way that actually makes sense. And who thought herd immunity would be discussed on TV without it being a punchline? Did you ever think that someone like Dr. Fauci would be played by Brad Pitt on Saturday Night Live? I bet his mother didn't, but yours just might. He's been a hero of mine since we met during the Obama administration's response to the Zika virus. Yes, we had a federal government that responded in those days. Now, I have to say that I'm jealous. My graduate degree was not exactly welcomed with open arms since it had the word environment in it. Generally, environment wasn't viewed as an underpinning of economic prosperity. I am so glad we've matured in our thinking since the early 1980s. Just ask anyone who is fighting the climate crisis, the most significant existential threat of our lifetime, and you can see just how far our thinking has evolved. Now take a look at how our government is fighting the economic black hole created by the coronavirus. It's rolling back health protections that have brought us clean air, water, and land. It's talking about bailing out the oil industry and ordering workers back to the job, knowing full well that many of them might not live long enough to see the fruits of their own labor. Yeah, the world seems to have turned on its head just a bit. But my hope is that you and your families have stayed healthy and safe and can begin to see an end to the darkness soon. And I'm confident that brighter days are ahead if each and every one of you stays active and hopeful and uses the information and skills you've learned to make this world a better place. You have an unprecedented opportunity, and you need to grab it for all it's worth. You can help move our country out of one of the darkest times and create the world our children deserve. One person, one family, one community at a time. Just think about it. People know that life can change in an instant. We don't have to prove it with a longitudinal study. They get it. Maybe we can focus on how we don't just return to normal, but instead build a future that is healthier, safer, and more just than ever before. People can see the impact we've had on our natural world, and maybe they won't want to go backwards. As the air has gotten cleaner, people in India are seeing the Himalayas for the first time. The canals of Venice are clear, and carbon emissions that fuel climate change have dropped. These temporary reprieves from human impacts are not silver linings, but maybe they will be the wake-up call we all need. People now know that science is the key, and if you ignore it, you do so at your own peril. Now more than ever, people want to hear the experts, not the politicians. They've seen the devastating consequences of coronavirus, and they can now see the impacts of climate change. The time for climate denial has passed. The time for climate action and for hope is now. Communication is key. Did you see Dr. Fauci take over Julia Roberts' Instagram? We need more scientists thinking like him. Look, you can all produce the best science ever, but if no one knows it or understands it, it's not going to make a difference. Or if you keep talking about scientific hypotheses, correlations, associations, and probabilities, then people probably will think you only have questions and no real answers. Simple messages about your work and telling stories to bring your experiences to life are what will stick with people. And BTW, don't just text your parents, give them a call once in a while. And lastly, don't shy away from a challenge. Please do not settle for a job you know you could do in your sleep. Take a job that you aren't quite sure you can do. It'll force you to learn. It'll keep you on the edge of your seat. Look, life is complicated and it's hard. Get over it. Take on tough problems like feeding the world, reducing infectious diseases, implementing climate solutions, curing the common cold, and stopping these little brown spots from appearing on our faces as we get older. In any case, don't take the easy road ever. And I guarantee that you will go to bed exhausted, but really proud every night. We have the power to choose our future. We have to just grab it. We can build back from the crises we face in ways that make us healthier, that grow jobs and build a strong, sustainable, clean energy economy. Today is a difficult time in our lives. I get that. But this day is also a time to celebrate you. And I, for one, am more hopeful than ever, knowing that you are unleashed and fully prepared to go out and save the world. So have at it. But before you do, enjoy some cake and some ice cream, and oh yes, champagne. Cheers to you, class of 2020.
Thank you, Ms. McCarthy, for those inspirational words and all that you have done to promote science-based policies, a cleaner planet, and healthier communities.
Now it's time to acknowledge and celebrate this year's graduating class. Students will be recognized by department, beginning with students receiving a Doctor of Philosophy degree, followed by masters and undergraduates. These are the graduates from the Department of Biostatistics.
Jean Feng. Xinyun Dai. Shuangcheng Hua.
These are the graduates from the Department of Environmental and Occupational Health Sciences.
Hyunggam Ryu.
Michael Anderson. Sierra Madison Brown. Logan Dearborn Jones. Hannah Elizabeth Hawley. Veronica Santos James.
Tuan Quoc Nguyen. Jennifer K. Pak. Suhani Sanjay Patel. Natalie A. Peterson.
Jennifer Mi-sun Kim. Paulina Alexandrovna Kozik.
These are the graduates from the Department of Epidemiology.
Allison G.B. Black. Rebecca Brander. Yan Chen. Jersey Eisenberg-Guillot. Caitlin Firth. Xinwei Hua. Marla J. Husnick. Vivian Hood Lyons.
Yu Ni. Jamaica R.M. Robinson. Valentine Adiambo Wanga.
Helena Archer. Michelle Buteris. Erica Foytz. Deborah Foster,
Stephanie Ruderman, Gregory Zane, Caitlin Amber Zinsley,
Stephanie Brown, Graham Stewart Norris Crawbuck, Dara Lynn Horn,
Morgan Meadows, Lorraine Tui Jacobs,
These are the graduates from the Department of Global Health.
Hadiga A. Amer, Jiho Kim,
William Tinashe Msemburi,
Hannah Atlas, Haley Augustine, Huang Chu, Nafiso A. Egal, William Gardner, Tess Harper, Jean-Jacques Kayembe Kashondo, Diane Lynn Kendall, Robert W. Lapsley,
Rebecca Namara, Anne Naipanoi Pule, Jennifer Nadia Ricaldi Kamahwali, Paige L. Stringer, Brianna Williams, Rachel Wittenauer,
These are the graduates from the Department of Health Services.
Marilyn Haas, Roisin Birdie, Marissa Jorigui,
Heng Than No, Ariane Sandel, Sylvia Sylvie, Gypsy Vidal,
Christy Jean Lucas Adams, Catherine Scarlett Alexander, Sherry Ann Ballard, Melissa Ann Casey, Eric Chow, Aaron B. Lee, Gloria Jean Lockwood,
Michelle Ming-Shren McMillan, Elizabeth Meiselman, Araceli Mendez, Ashley Nguyen, Sung Eun Park, Catherine Patterson, Helena Schlegel, Holly Schroeder, Rachel Ariel Scott, Kimberly Michelle Seri, Elisa T. Strayer, Kara Yen Tan, Marcus Andrew Wen,
Gabino Abarca Jr., Santino Giovanni Camacho, Natalie Franz,
Elizabeth Nutting, Sarah Lynn Sutton, Erin Thayer, Jenny Wool,
Perla Bravo Acevedo, Joshua Edrich, Jacqueline Bigio Litzau, Nicholas Locke,
Lauren Patrice McCarg. Kazuki Oshima. Catherine Poloski. Hannah Rapp. Mallory Taylor.
These are the graduates from the Health Informatics and Health Information Management program.
Carmina Hardy Siapno Kawile. Shweta Dixit. Masa Harina Hook. Sonali Kadar. Jennifer Min Wong.
Helene Mazariegos. Irene Lata Naff. Andrea Navarrete. Stephanie L. Palmer. Daisy Pandey. Barbara Tisi. Joanna Susanna Valderrama. Belina Jenny Van. Hildy Vengalil.
Sahar Aldabashi. Kylene Brian Alvarez. Daniel M. Atienza. Marta Wanderson Bill. Hiwat Bire. Leon C. N. Bizimana. Emily C. Carlson. Felipe Antonio Contreras Pizarro. Bao Jia Do. Maureen Wambui Gito. Haley Jan Ho. Winnie Huang. Louisa Jansen. Kimok Jung. Eunice Suin Kim. Sungju Kim. Yerin Kim. Catherine Ann S. Kivimaki. Kara Chiyono Rei Kiyokawa. Sung-sil Lee. Jessica Na-K Lee. Amy Pan Liu.
Christy R. Nguyen. Ha Jung Nulti. Tanya Camille Ocampo. Samira Shire. Holland Hang Vu. Brianna K. Yi. Lisa Eun B. Yi. Jin E. Zhao.
These are the graduates from Master of Health Administration program.
Grace M. Atenir. Shahina Batanavashi. Rachel Elizabeth Dato. Alyssa De La Rosa. Sarah Ertzgard. Eric Solano Garcia. Priyanka Golan. Joseph Grady. Samantha Holton. Haley Deanne Johnson. Yu Kyung Kim. Sophie Elizabeth King. Hallie Corrine Laban, Patrick Lee,
Santina Marco, Purna A. Nanayakara, Chioma Nwozuzu, Stephen Go Ong, Tom Pittman, Michael Wong, Nai-Ling Ye.
These are the graduates from the Nutritional Sciences program, including the very first graduating cohort of the Food System, Nutrition and Health undergraduate major. The major was launched last year with 24 students and now has more than 180 undergraduates enrolled.
Kelsey A. Schmidt,
Nicole Michelle Kramer,
Anna Mowell, Divya Pawa, Shira Tamar Stern, Sarah Wilcock,
Kamari Lanieta Raye Alcaraz, Wanqing Chi, Daesam Chong, Morea Francis Daly, Quinton Hazen, Erica Holland, Kai Yu Sue, Emily Kwong, Nicole Elizabeth Lazar, Kimberly Nicole Lum,
Sierra Brianne Marlowe, Carissa Joanne Marshall, Esther Mai Wen, Elena Marie Noyola, Estelle Yeri Park, Megumi Sarah Tamai, Yu Wei Sang, Brendan James Welsian, Yi In Zhang, Hoi Yu Cho, Xiao Tong Shu,
These are the graduates from the Public Health Genetics program.
Brenda L. Price, Lauren Pixley,
These are the graduates from the Public Health Global Health major.
Kokoro Abe, Chinaza Favor Abonyi, Luis V. Aceves, Cian Jane Affman, Bailey J. Agan, Sadia A. Ahmed, Abdi Fatah Ali, Ramzia Amini, Sophia Rose Anderson Kundig, Hannah Adisu Arega, Shannon Catherine Bach, Rashid Basnet, Juan Bautista, Melanie Ryan Benson, Artie Baskaran, Catherine Claire Boone Dooley, Megan Esther Judith Bowers, Claire Eleanor Branley, Paige Danielle Browse, Aradna Rajesh Bulshand Ashrani, Caroline Victoria Busi, Yasmin Raouz Bayat, Isabel Eve Calvo, Jeanette Campos, Jemima Monahan Cowagdan, Ann K. Carper, Piper G. Casey, Mary Jo Castro, Claytia Cherekia, Nathan Zihun Chong, Van Jia Chuang, Lily Suki Clugston, Carrie Michaela Coles, Joanne Grace Campo, Danielle Erica Coronel, Sierra Rose Craig, Honor Alana Crawford, Caitlin Elaine Curran, Jacob Scott Desheen, Samuel David Detinsky, Gabrielle B. Degani, Kiara Rose DeSantis, Andrea Mai Deep, Yordanos Chalu Ilala, Zatzral Enkbayer, Honor Angelica Fotrell, Megan Elizabeth Frisch, Alyssa Fruge, Kaylee Nicole Fuchs, Augustin Garcia, Mia Michelle Garcia, Yesenia Gabriela Garcia, Angelina Mejino Gawaran, Metelihem Medhani Gabretinse, Elizabeth McKay Hafferkamp, Noor May Hamwi, Stanzi Grace Hay, Cassidy Janelle Hernandez Tamayo, Alicia Yareli Herrera, Jessica Hin, Jijia Han, Sedona Oceana Howard, Davina Victavi Hoy, Audrey Louise Immel, Anas Samir Ismail, Taylor Ray Jameson, Magnus Jim, Liana Charlotte Johnson, Taja Marie Jones, Terrence Tyre K. Jones, Zena Juma, Winta Welder Mariam Kasey, Sukman Kaur, Elizabeth Michelle Kennedy, Junbum Kim, Mai TX Kim, Kent Yuki Kito, Ethan Frank Knight, Camille Joanne Korolak, Lindsay Marie Kofasich, Madeline Claire Kramer, Amy Elizabeth Latimer, Lauren Rose Lee, Emily Hua Yi Liang,
Ashley Jade McPherson, Cooper Q. Marshall, Kylie K. Martin, Miguel Angel Martinez, Lindsay Marie McClellan, Harkeet Kaur Minhas, Ariana Mahora Mixon, Sophie Jane Moynihan, Brooke G. Musburger, Divya Naidu, Shelby Raiko Nakano, Michaela Nicole Nelson, Jefferson Chian Nguyen, Jessica Nguyen, Kathleen Dwi Nguyen, Kristen Lee Nguyen, Timothy Koa Nguyen, Natalie M. Nichols, Abel Nigusu, Monica Gabriela Nabe, Argenis Ochoa Valenzuela, Ji Yon O, Beldandi Linda Ohm, Liliana Ovadiuk, Jessica Powell, Mackenzie Patterson, Rachel Cheyenne Peterson, Min Hung Miranda Nguyen Pham, Vivian Ngoc Pham, Sandy Fan, Georgia Phillips, Carmen Fu, Michaela Jane Poirier White, Risham A. Puri, Alexander Riley, Heather Robbins, Danielle Rose Robinson, Jared Alberto Rodriguez, Selena Edwards Salongo, Jerusa Tabios Salas, Sean Alex Sanchez Monel, Celia Abigail Sauer, Sarah Sumiko Shacklin, Anjali Sharma, Lavira Elizabeth Shields, Paloma Elena Silva Juarez, Esther Solano, Nandita Somayaji, Lauren K. Stafford, David Strom, Anwar Mohammed Tata, Jeffrey Adair Taylor Kantz, Emily S. T. Non Tai, Timothy Daniel Tillman, Shell Toko, Jane Torres, Ophelia Torres, Kiman Tran, Stephen Than Trung Tran, Jacqueline Valdez Gonzalez, Melissa Valencia Castillo, Natalie Marie Vandeventer, Tien Kim Monica Va, Ryan Wagstaff, Aya M. Walaya, Judy Danielle Wang, Lu Yi Wang, Gabriella A. Webb, McKenna Lee Waymeyer, Allison C. Wells, Zoe Ray Whidden, Kaylin Ferguson White, Delenn Whitehead, Amy Catherine Willerford, Sarah Kim Winkapaw, Megan Wright, Jiaxin Wu, Zhuo Ya Yang, Lauren Lee Zawacki, Yanni Zhang, Yitong Zhang, Zihong Zheng, Aurea Sunshine Zugish.
Graduating students, let's take a minute to whoop it up with and for you. The graduating students we celebrate today are all completing a chapter in their education. Some are earning their first degree in higher education. Others are completing a degree that prepares them for practice or research careers, while others are completing doctoral degrees that have required many years of work and dedication. To these students, each of you has faced challenges along the way, especially this year. Each of you has faced those challenges, grown stronger, and persevered. We are extraordinarily proud of you. Today, you should celebrate your amazing achievements with your family, friends, and supporters, while of course staying at least 6 feet physically distant. We're thrilled that you've chosen a career in one of the many fields of public health represented today. While your path may lead you in myriad directions, next steps, and careers, a degree in public health represents a great future. The job market may be in flux due to the pandemic, but public health is more relevant than ever, and your skills and knowledge are desperately needed. It's a great time to go out into the world and make your impact. Each of you has made a commitment to improving the health of populations. You have acquired skills and knowledge that allow you to work on a much larger scale than caring for the individual. You have chosen the noble path of working for the health of communities and inherit the great tradition of those who came before you. As you celebrate your graduation today, remember that you're poised to be a change maker and are joining a community of amazing individuals who are committed to using their skills and expertise to make the world a better place. We can't wait to see what you will do. Class of 2020, new members of the public health community, congratulations. Those who have gone before you, your teachers, mentors, parents, and colleagues, welcome you to your community. I wish you amazing, transformative lives and adventures filled with inspiration, hard work, equanimity, and joy.